Okay, Dawn. Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna wait and see if they come over here because everything was messed up in the members live. So I wasn't getting good service. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Was you in the members live? Hello, Crystal Pistol. Okay, there you are. Okay. I'm gonna give y'all a minute to come in. I am so sorry. It kept saying I wasn't getting service. I don't know what was going on. I have no clue what was going on, that my service was messing up on that side. Maybe I needed to do it a different way. I don't know. I don't know. Let me tell Millie I'm over here. Let me tell Millie. Let me tell Millie. Let me tell Millie. This is crazy. Hey, Robin. Hello, hello, hello. You hear me now? But you don't. Do you see Crystal? Hey, Karen. Who's having issues today? Is that just me or everybody else? Do you see the icon? Do you see the icon, Crystal? As long as you can see the icon, I put it down because my hair's wet anyway, so it don't matter. If you see the icon and you can hear me good, we're good to go. At least this way, okay. At least this way, I can play the videos and calls, and I don't have to hold my phone up. So there's that. Let me give everybody a minute to come in, and then all good here. Okay, good. Because maybe I tried to set it up earlier on my StreamYard, and so maybe it's because both of them was set up, I was having problems. I don't know, because I don't know how to do a lot of that stuff if I go live. I think I pushed the wrong button. I don't know what I was doing. Hey, Debbie. Hello, hello. You're a huge Elvis fan. Okay, so I can probably get through it faster, and I can go through it a little bit, and everybody hardly heard me anyway over there, but they got a little piece of it. They got a little piece of something. Listen, Elvis, he was huge. Okay. Everybody loved Elvis. Y'all go ahead and drop me. What are some of your favorite Elvis songs? Tell me that. Tell me, let me see in here. What are some of your favorite Elvis songs? Now I'll turn the light back on. Sometimes my eyes get to where sometimes I got to have the light on. Sometimes I got to have it off. So now I got to have it on. If I Can Dream. Okay. Robin, what's your favorite Elvis song? Some of y'all may not be Elvis fans, but honey, it sure is interesting. Some things that I learned. I wanted to talk about, the one he left behind, and that was ANITA. And a lot of people always associate, and we are going to talk a little bit about him and Priscilla, but not too much, because Elvis loved ANITA. She was the one left behind. Oh, Don't Cry Daddy. Yeah, that one, Don't Cry Daddy. Yeah. I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Yeah, Joanne. And I think that was a big something in his heart. I think he really couldn't help it, is what I'm trying to say. I think he really couldn't help falling in love with everybody. I'm just saying. I think he really couldn't. I think mine of all time, out of everything. Now, listen, I was 10 years old. I don't know if y'all heard me or was in the membership live. I did a membership live earlier on this, but we only got halfway through because it kept messing up. So we decided to come on over here and let everybody join in, okay? So y'all join in, hit that likes up. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. We're going to talk about some Elvis today. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, honey. Anyway, we're going to talk about some Elvis Presley today. I think mine of all times, and it gets me every time, is Suspicious Minds. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me? When you don't believe a word I'm saying, we can't go on together with suspicious minds. We can't build our dreams on suspicious minds. I mean, I love that song. I love it. I love that song. I love that song. I always love that song. And you know that song, I don't know, maybe they played it in one of their shows. I don't know. That song always reminds me of Richard Gere for some reason. I don't know. But I love that song. I love that song. Hello, Mimi Jean. Hello, welcome in, welcome in. But Elvis had many, many, many talents. He had a lot of talents. Very good talents. What's your favorite song, Mimi Jean, of Elvis? Kentucky Rain, I like that. Burning Love. He had he had a lot of talent. And of course, he had a lot of shaking going on. He had a lot of shaking going on. He had that loop going to the side and a lot of shaking going on. Yeah, blue suede shoes. I was too, Crystal. I was 10 years old. I never will forget it. God, y'all think something goes on now, like with Michael Jackson and Prince, and these people die. I mean, the whole world stopped, it seemed like. Of course, I was a kid. I was telling them earlier in my live I'm like, he was so big, he was huge, but he's even more huge now in death. But people went to Graceland and they, went for years. They probably still do. Went there. Yeah, I am, Crystal. Sure am. Sure am. They went for years, and they went up there when that happened, and then they went for years. His birthday and the anniversary of his death, and so many people and stuff like that. But he was the king. He had a lot of ups and downs. That's what I was trying to explain a while ago for my memberships. Started acting up crazy in there. So we're going to talk about it out here. He had his ups and downs. I ain't trying to bash him in any way, shape, or form. I love Elvis. I loved Elvis. I loved his music, even though I was a child. Like I said, it got very popular over the year as I grew. I loved it. I was telling them earlier. I had a personal family member, and I was, more of a kid. I always heard this when I was growing up as well. It was a dinner table talk thing. But we had a family member who went there, and, it was always said that, and again, that when they went there, Elvis had this jar, and I don't know I think the jar was in the walk, when you walked in. I don't know if it was a clear jar. I don't know if it was blue jar, red jar, had a jar on top. I don't know, but he had this jar. I'll tell it again because a lot of y'all wasn't in there. And the people, anybody that come in, he would always pull out $100 bill and he would give them the $100 bill, right? And that, even if they didn't want it, he would make them take the $100 bill. And I didn't really think about it until now, and after I got grown and talking about it and stuff, he was a generous person, and people always talked about how generous he was, and he would help anybody and all that stuff, and never ask for anything in return. But, knowing what and he had a sad life too. It almost makes you wonder, did he try to buy people and their compassion or their love or whatever? It just makes me think things like that. I don't know. You was excited to go to Graceland with your mom. Yeah. I've been to Graceland. I've not been inside there. I never been inside there. I've been outside there, outside the gates, stood there, got my photo there, got photos in person, yada, yada. My name is marked on the wall, just like everybody else's. When we went to our road trip, we went through there. I didn't go there. I didn't go inside there, though. We did go to his home he was born at. So I have been there, been all around there. I even sat on his porch and stuff like that, which was pretty neat. And to me, was a whole lot better. I liked it. I liked that a whole lot better. If I get a chance, I got to go. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I hear. Now, my brother-in-law, he's passed away now. He passed away many years ago. My brother-in-law has been in there, and he was a diehard fan. When we lived in Nashville, they used to go up there. He used to take his family. They used to go up there just on trips, just to get away. It's a couple hours from Nashville, whatever. And he would take his kids and his family. They would always invite us to go. And I don't know why we never did. I mean, it's just something you take for granted. You say you will, you'll end up going. We just never went. But he loved Elvis. Played his music all the time, bought his stuff, all the things, and loved his music. And even when he got sick, had his strokes and yada, yada, everybody played his, like when he would go in and out of it, they'd play his music and, stuff like that for him to hear. But in my opinion, I kind of think he was a sad man, and that's just me. I think his heart was sad. I think his heart was sad. But if I do ever, I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't. I got somebody that lives in Memphis. They live more on the I don't know what part you call it. Let's see. They live more towards the Mississippi part. And then, of course, we know we got somebody on here that is a friend of mine or whatever that, lives in Memphis. But I don't like Memphis. I've never liked Memphis. I didn't go to the World Fair. I didn't rush up there. And, I just, something about it. I don't like Memphis. And when a family member of mine moved there, it's been over a year now. I'm like, why are you moving to Memphis? Hell, it was dangerous 40 years ago. Right, Debbie? It's dangerous. It was like 40 years ago. My family member tells me, oh, you can get your car stolen, honey, and they won't even take the people to jail. They won't look for them, whatever. They find your car, whether it's damaged or not damaged. They'll just call you up and say, hey, your car's here. Come pick up your car. I'm like, oh, heck to the no. We can't be doing that. But my family member is one. Well, they say they're coming back in April. They're not coming here. They're coming somewhere down in Florida. But further down, I think. But anyway, yeah, I don't like Memphis. I don't like it. And Smiley don't like it. I just don't like it. I ain't saying I don't like the people. I just don't have no desire. I did go through there when we went to on our trip, and I like to see different things, but I only stopped there for Graceland, the outside. And I went over there to see the plane and the plane and all that. I had no desire to go in nowhere over in Memphis. I was getting a freak out of there as quick as possible. It was just a drive-through. Smiley was driving through. Okay, that's all I can tell you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But he had so much love in him. He had a lot of love in him and a lot of care. And he was young. He was talented. And all of that. But he had a lot of people put him with Priscilla and all that. But he was with ANITA Wood. How many of you know? And he was handsome. I was just telling Debbie them in my members a while ago, but again, I kept going in and out, so we had to come over here, which is fine. The more the merrier, right? I tried, but I was telling them, I don't know if it was in the DNA or the food or what it was back then. The men and the women and the children back then, everybody was so pretty and so handsome. And everybody was just gorgeous back then, made the most beautiful pictures, all of the things. And it was just an era, everybody has these decades and these eras and how looks go. And that was just one of them. And he was so beautiful, handsome, especially before. And that's what I was getting at right before we got kicked out, or I told y'all to come over here, is because unfortunately he did take a lot of drugs, and he did have a lot of doctors, and he did blow up like a balloon, and he did self-medicate, and he did get overprescribed, and he did eat a lot of fatty junk food, and he was on the road a lot, and he didn't feel good. And I am surprised he lived as long as he did live, if you want to know the truth at it. He took a pill for pooping. He took a pill for peeing. He took a pill for, I don't even know what. Hey, Joanne and Millie. And he took a pill for eating. He took a pill for not eating. He took a pill for this. He took a pill for that. There was a pill for everything. And I'm not saying nothing bad about him. I'm not saying nothing bad about him at all. And I'm not here to diss him at all. And I was saying lastly, before we got kicked out over there, was unfortunately a lot of people was around him for his money and for his fame, and nobody looked out for his best interest, in my opinion. And so sadly, we know what happened to him. Crystal said, I have a picture of my grandma in black and white. She's so pretty. Yes, I love those pictures. Oh my God. One day, when I get in there and clean out my closet again for the 50th, 11th time, I am going to pull out some of my, I'll do my deceased aunts and, of course, my mom back then. And they almost look like, I got some that's black and white, but I got some that's color, and they almost look like paintings, and they're just so beautiful. And maybe we'll do a live, like maybe I can get my son to help me and make sure my computer's all cleaned out and stuff. Maybe we'll just show those type of photos, because I got black and white, I got both. And maybe we'll just show back then and different things, and even men, and they're just so, I don't know, they look like way back movie stars or something. I don't know, man. But anyway, that would be Millie, just different stuff like that. And it's raining here today too. And I don't know if you heard, Millie, I don't know if you were getting ready or trying to come over here, but I don't know if it's because I was playing with the buttons trying to learn how to do this on the other YouTube. Y'all know how I am with that. But anyway, some of y'all got some of the live before it started going all bad, and some of you didn't, but it is what it is. Well, one day I'll learn it. It is what it is. I thank you and I appreciate you and da-da-da. So we're going over it again. But it is kind of good this way because I don't have to hold my phone up, and we got videos and we got phone calls and stuff I do want you to hear and all that set up. So thank you for being here. But again, he called ANITA Wood. He met her. She was 19, and he impressed her. First impressions, I was saying earlier, is it either makes you or break you, and it made he made the cut with her. He made the cut with her, and they got together, and she actually, his mom and his family, and he loved his mom. He adored his mom. Everybody in the world knows that, okay? Hey, he bought her a pink Cadillac, right? Okay, think about that, honey. But, now she loved ANITA. His family loved ANITA. And, they were both young, but, ANITA ended up moving and living in Graceland. A lot of people don't know that. ANITA, she was born in Mississippi too, and they didn't meet there. That's not where they met at. But she was this southern girl. And she had a lot of beauty, and she had a lot of charm, and she was real kind-hearted. And, I guess that's what drew her to Elvis. And Elvis, fell hard for her. He said one time somewhere, she was the one that got away. She was the one that got away. Now, she was a singer and an actress. Okay? And when she met Elvis, it was around 1957. And he was already climbing up to stardom with Sun Records and his music. And, he was already at Graceland and all these things. ANITA, she was a Southern girl. She wasn't chasing fame. She wasn't like all the others and this big fan girl and all this stuff. She was a Southern, down-to-earth girl, where she was just a kind, good girl. And ANITA wasn't chasing all that. Okay. What I know about her and what I found out about her, see, Elvis said she was the one, the only true love he ever truly loved. That's what he said. So how they met, she owned this recording studio or this show or something like that. ANITA, she was like the only girlfriend, she was the one. Hey, green-eyed girl. Hello. ANITA was his significant girlfriend, just call it, from 1957 to 1962, and she was known as his number one girl by his family, by his friends, and his inner circle. Everybody knew it was serious, and it was a serious 5-year relationship, and everyone knew her. Everyone loved her. She moved into Graceland, and she was very important to him, and she was beautiful to him. Now, I think she was beautiful, period. That's just me. And by the way, I'm going to go back over this. I was telling everybody earlier, I don't know what part they heard, but she died back in July 2nd of 2023. She died from pneumonia. See, where Elvis had a short life, she lived a very long life. And I was telling them, sometimes you got to be thankful for what you have. Let's see how I forgot how I said it. You got to be thankful for what you have, appreciate what you got, and sometimes you got to be thankful for unanswered prayers. And no, it's not Preacher Bob. Millie, it's not Preacher Bob, right? But I think after that, she ended up married again. Okay, so she had a good life. I'm not sure how many kids she had, but I know for a fact she had one daughter, and I know she has some grandkids, and she spent 45 years with her husband, but she didn't died of pneumonia. Okay, that's what she died of. She ended up with pneumonia and she died. But life just happens, man. Life happens. Her and Elvis lined up with each other. See, ANITA hosted this popular dance show in Memphis. This is where they met at, but he wasn't there yet. He didn't go there. What happened was he watched it. He watched her on TV, and it was in Memphis, and it come on every Sunday. No, it was every Saturday afternoon, and there was this dance show. And so Elvis watched it, and he was watching it one day. He was a regular viewer on the show, right? And so after that show, Elvis sent Lamar Fink over. I don't know if that was his manager, his bodyguard. I don't know. Again, I was a kid. But he sent him over, okay? And he wanted to talk to ANITA. And so she accepted, and they talked, and then that's how they met. Again, he made a very good impression on her, and she said, her words were, he was stunningly good looking. She said he was the best looking man she ever saw. So she said he was very down to earth, and they just hit it off real good. But he always, hey, PG's little girl. So Elvis always referred to ANITA as his number one girl. His number one girl. I even heard he proposed to ANITA at one time. But anyway, Elvis was drafted into the United States military, and that was back in 1958. And again, I thank him for his service. As you see, got my little thing on. We've all seen him in his little uniform. He looked good there too. And so that was back in March of 1958. And he was forced to put his public career, his music, and everything on hold. And he had to move to Germany. And he had to serve his country for a few years. And, the singer and actress, she just stayed at home and she did what she did. She kept the home fires burning, right? They said she never cheated on him. She never did any of that stuff or whatever. But he put his Hollywood stuff on hold. He went to serve the country. But ANITA, you got to remember, she was 19 years old when she met Elvis. And when Elvis continued to see ANITA, he kind of expressed some difficulty in choosing. Because, see, then he met Priscilla, and this is where things started coming up. But they were all young. So he met Priscilla, and so he started having difficulty in kind of choosing and what did he want. And I was telling in my members live a while ago, I was like, well, back then was a little bit different. So I kind of don't, they were all young. It was a different world back then. So I don't look at Priscilla as no homewrecker. I don't look at him as like you would nowadays. It's kind of just not the same. But, you know, I guess it all depends on how you look at things, right? Just things were not the same in those days. You know, those are the old days. Those were the good old days. We ain't never in our entire life, as long as any of us live, gonna ever see those days again. And if you didn't live during any of that part of that time, know about that time, grow up in that time, honey, you might as well give it up. You ain't gonna know nothing except ever about this evil world. Sorry for your luck. Sorry for your luck. But anyway, in 1962, what happened was Anita was at Graceland, and she overheard Elvis. Elvis was talking to his father, Vernon. He was talking to his father, Vernon, about this because, you know, and that's what he did. He went to his dad. He was conflicted, okay? And he really was. And the reason I say Priscilla wasn't a homewrecker and he wasn't a cheater and a liar and a scum like they all are now, in my opinion, is because y'all are going to come to understand some stuff I didn't even understand that went on back then, honey. And I was shocked. I'm like, I didn't know either the religion or the thing. He was just a good man. Let's just put it that way, okay? But anyway, he talked it over with his dad, and Anita heard him talking. And upon hearing this, and y'all are going to hear her voice, she's going to have some conversations with Elvis. I got that. We're going to listen to it in a minute. So when she heard this, when she overheard this, Anita decided she's going to make it easy. She's not going to be the one. She's not going to be the second one. She's not going to be the second choice, which although she's the one that got away and he loved her more than, let's just say, life itself, because at one point he said she was the one. But anyway, upon hearing this, she decided to make it easy. She left Graceland and she said she would never return. She made that decision. And she made it to Elvis to just leave, make it easy for him, make it easy on him, and she left. Dear John, okay? Dear John. Anita then publicly announced the end of their relationship. She moved back to her hometown in Jackson, Tennessee. Because, see, even after returning from the Army and moving Anita into Graceland, Elvis continued to date other women. I think we all kind of know that. He was a little bit of a womanizer, but Anita struggled and she had insecurities. And there was a lack of trust there. There was a lack of trust in the relationship due to what Elvis continued to do and involve other women. Now, the growing connection between Elvis and here we are at the 17-year-old Priscilla in Germany, okay, started escalating, and it started escalating tensions. Now, listen to this part because these are things I didn't know. Elvis did not want to have sex with Priscilla before they married because he believed she needed to be a virgin, a value that was attributed to his Pentecostal Christian background. And his desire to maintain her purity. He also stated he had never been able, and I was listening to a video with Priscilla, and I think it was Barbara Walters had asked her something, how things changed after Lisa Marie come along. And this kind of makes sense now, but anyhow, he stated he never been able to make love to a woman. He didn't name Priscilla, but he said to a woman who had a child and refused to be intimate after the birth of their daughter, Lisa Marie, which caused emotional pain and doubt for her. That's sad, y'all. That's sad. Now, that's just strange to me, but hey, it happens, I guess. Anyway, it's just strange to me. I don't know any kind of thing about that relationship, but I mean that religion, but okay. Right, Crystal. But this is just strange. But anyway, their lives were, we know him and Priscilla, die hard love for sure, and very strong. I don't know what was going on in the bedroom, but anyway. But ANITA was smart, in my opinion. She got the hell out of Dodge. I'm just saying. Sometimes these women don't want to leave just because of the heart. Elvis was in tears, though, because Elvis, ANITA, she was very smart, because when his girlfriend ANITA, what she did was she demanded he tell the truth about his affair with Priscilla. And I ain't saying a sexual back then or whatever, but that he tell the truth. And he flew Priscilla, which was a teenager, to the United States for a secret visit. Now, and he cried and he told the truth. So basically, through ANITA, she was the one that got left behind. Or Elvis was the one that got left behind by ANITA. She wasn't having it. She just made it easy for him. She wasn't going to be the second choice, right? She just left. She made it easy for him. And I say good for her. But I find this very interesting. I find this story interesting by all accounts. Elvis was a good man, in my opinion. Everyone loved Elvis. They still do to this day. He's more popular now than ever. But it had to be a sad, lonely life for everybody all the way around, in my opinion. Elvis, he wrote many letters while he was stationed in Germany to her for 5 years. One of them, I'm writing a letter, love note, showing how much I love you, I miss you. But when he returned home, the breakup, it happened face to face at Graceland. Not through a letter, though. ANITA later said in the interview that Elvis admitted he'd fallen in love with Priscilla and that's what ended it. She described it as one of the hardest moments in her life. But she didn't mention receiving any formal goodbyes or anything like that as far as Elvis writing or anything like that. ANITA said herself, I went back to Graceland to see him. I asked if it was true about Priscilla, and he said yes. But he still loved me too. I told him that's not how love works, and I left. She drove away from Graceland in tears. And that was the real goodbye, not written in ink, just a heartbreak felt in silence and in tears. The real Dear John, if you will. Sometimes letters stop not because the love is gone, sometimes because the truth has arrived, in my opinion. Elvis didn't write ANITA a goodbye letter because maybe he couldn't. Maybe his songs became his letters. Maybe words in there became his goodbye words, or his I'm sorry words, or I still love you words, carried in a piece of goodbye in his heart, or how he felt. I don't know. I know we don't know, and we read a lot into these things, but I know it's very interesting. You know, people rich and poor, people, they all have their problems. We all live, we all love, we all hurt. We grow up, we grow apart. Some things bring us close together, some bring us further apart. But life goes on. Life goes on. Let's watch some of these videos I got. Let's watch some of these videos. Some of these are going to be from between Elvis and ANITA. Some of them will be about Elvis. Let's just watch. I think these are very interesting. Yeah, Crystal, that's part of the problem, isn't it? All right, hold on a minute. We're going to share some stuff.
Our father and talk of Father a letter. It said something about her wanting to come over here, and that he would have to call her father and talk her father into it. All this was in the letter, and so I confronted him with it when he came home. We did have a real bad argument about that in the bedroom, and I remember that. He was quite upset. I was in the study, And I found a letter that she had written to him, and in the letter it said something about her wanting to come over here, and that he would have to call her father and talk her father into it. All this was in the letter, and so I confronted him with it when he came home. We did have a real bad argument about that in the bedroom, and I remember that, he was quite upset. I think because I found the letter, and then the fact that this little girl was coming all the way from Germany, I mean, I couldn't believe that, I didn't like that either. And shortly thereafter, I made a decision to leave. I was in the study, and I found a letter that she had written to him, and in the letter it said something about her wanting to come over here, and that he would have to call her father and talk her father into it. All this was in the letter, and so I confronted him with it when he came home. We did have a real bad argument about that in the bedroom, and I remember that, he was quite upset. I think because I found the letter, and then the fact that this little girl was coming all the way from Germany, I mean, I couldn't believe that, I didn't like that either. And shortly thereafter,
I mean, can y'all imagine bringing Priscilla all the way over from Germany? She was 17. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. But I mean, let me just stop there. I'm just gonna stop there. We're gonna watch another one. This was a call between them on Valentine's Day. I think this is the one I'm gonna pull up. Hold on. I'm trying to mute this so my dog is snoring over there. Hold on.
Right before he went into the Army in 1958, with his serious girlfriend ANITA Wood. Why did he spend the romantic holiday with Kitty instead?
What would you rather be, a lover or a fighter?
It's just according to what the situation is. I mean, sometimes you have to be both.
I think you can both.
At the time, ANITA Wood was known as Elvis Presley's official girlfriend among his family and friends. Even though Elvis had been dating ANITA since July 1957, 8 months before he was inducted into the Army, he was still having short-lived romances with other girls during that time.
Yeah, Crystal, because
One girl who Elvis had been seeing
Priscilla was
almost as long as ANITA remained a
17.
well-kept secret. Singer, actress, and model Kitty Dolan, described as the least publicized girl in Elvis's life, first met Elvis in Las Vegas in the fall of 1957 when she was singing at the Tropicana Hotel. She recalled how Elvis took her to see the Sammy Davis Jr. show at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas. "It was too much," said Kitty. "Sammy Davis does a takeoff of Elvis at the end of his show, and Elvis loves it. He has a wonderful sense of humor," unquote. "Imagine him putting me on the finale of his show," Elvis said to Kitty. "This guy is the most versatile, the most talented," unquote. Kitty was linked with Elvis in the gossip columns several times. But she didn't speak about Elvis until a year after he entered the Army. "We dated all the time, in Vegas, in Hollywood, then at Killeen," 21-year-old Dolan revealed. "I've known him for over a year now, but you never heard of it. Because I didn't want him to think I was using his name. But now that he's overseas, I think we should talk about him. Everyone should. I want to keep his name alive," unquote. Dolan's interview appeared in the special magazine publication called Elvis in the Army. The article was called "The Love Story He Hides," as revealed to the editor by his best girl. With Elvis in Germany in 1959, it was easier to discuss the fact that he had been dating other girls besides ANITA. "In Vegas when I was dating him, I didn't tell anyone, because I didn't want the other girls cutting my throat when I went backstage to work at night," Kitty revealed. "Oh, the girls backstage aren't bad, but they wanted to date him too," unquote. In Las Vegas, Elvis would rent a Cadillac and a motorcycle, and take his dates for a spin. Gossip columnist May Mann described Kitty as a gorgeous brunette who had eyes and a face like Elvis's mama, Gladys Presley. Now if it weren't for Elvis Presley, I can say I could never be induced to get on a motorcycle, Kitty told May. Kitty visited Elvis on the set of King Creole in early 1958, as evident in photographs taken of her with Elvis on the studio lot. She helped him rehearse his lines. Meanwhile, Anita Wood, who was a singer and actress herself, would often come visit Elvis in Hollywood. But she couldn't be there with him every day since she had her own career. It seems Elvis did not feel guilty about dating multiple women at the same time, or leading on his #1 girlfriend, Anita, to believe she was the only girl for him. Even though Anita would have moved into the upstairs at Graceland in 1957, that didn't stop Elvis from bringing other women around when she wasn't there. One time Anita went out shopping and Elvis brought another girl upstairs, said Marty Lacker. He was fooling around with her in the bedroom, when all of a sudden, one of the guys called up and said, "Hey, Elvis, Anita's coming through the gate." Marty then described how Elvis had the guys place a ladder by one of his windows. He made the girl climb out the window first, then he followed. When Anita came up the stairs, Elvis wasn't there. Quote, "He walked around the back of the
That's
house to
a
the front and came
homewrecker.
upstairs
The
behind her,"
girl.
Marty continued. Elvis said to Anita, "Oh, you're home, great." Elvis would do stuff like that all the time, unquote. Of course, Anita would find out about other women from time to time. Since Elvis was her first love, she wanted to believe the excuses he gave her. Quote, "Elvis would always come to me and say, 'But, little, you know these are just publicity stunts. It doesn't mean anything. You're the only one I care about,'" Anita explained, admitting that she was gullible. "Elvis could make you believe anything," she said. On February 14, his last Valentine's Day before entering the Army, Elvis spent the romantic evening not with his Memphis girlfriend Anita Wood, who could not be in Hollywood that day, but with Kitty. Elvis invited Kitty for dinner with him at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel where he stayed during filming. After dinner in the penthouse dining room, 23-year-old Elvis presented Kitty with a box of Louis Sherry chocolates. "We sat on the floor eating candy and watching television," Kitty described. "And I'd say, 'Elvis, try this piece.' He'd bite into it and throw it back with, 'I don't like this, try this one.' We were throwing pieces of candy back and forth, and I guess we looked loco, but we were having such fun," unquote. The following month, Elvis would be inducted into the Army. Not only would Elvis have to get a drastic haircut, but he would also have to shave off his long sideburns. Elvis was asked about cutting off his sideburns on that same train ride in January 1958. While he doesn't give a reason, Elvis was believed to have trimmed his sideburns for his role in King Creole.
You mean, do I mind giving?
Yeah, actually, I mean,
No, they'll go back. If it was a situation, if they cut them off and I never could have any more, then I would worry about it.
They look shorter today. You wearing them shorter than
I wore them shorter than I used to.
Uh-huh. What's the reason for that, maybe?
Well, I don't know.
I was understanding you
kind
were
of
on.
tired. It was down to my cheekbone. Yeah, I got
When Elvis returned home, he spent lots of time with Anita in the days leading up to his Army induction. On March 21, 3 days before Elvis left for the Army, he bought Anita a new 1956 pink Ford. Anita was so flattered that Elvis would buy her a car. She drove it every day until he bought her another car in 1962. While the relationship with Kitty was not serious, she was still involved with Elvis through September 1958 when he spent his last days at Fort Hood in Texas. Dolan was quoted regarding her visit with Presley by gossip columnist Luella Parsons on September 23, 1958. "It was a sort of farewell to Elvis before he left for duty in Germany," Kitty said. "No, we are not engaged, but I admit I expect to see Elvis soon again when I make a tour of Europe." During her 3-day visit, Kitty and Elvis went to the movies at night or stayed at home. One night during her stay, Kitty recalled, quote, "At 2 a.m., we said goodnight. When he kissed me, I said with a little laugh, 'What is this with you and Anita Wood? I've been reading all the stories.' Elvis smiled and said, 'She has a good press agent.' And then he kissed me again, and I forgot about any other girl," unquote. However, on the last day of her visit, Kitty found out that Elvis had made arrangements for Anita Wood to come join him just as Kitty was leaving. Not liking to be alone, Elvis often sent one girlfriend home as another girlfriend was on her way to visit, a practice he was known to do often. It is unclear if Kitty ever went to Europe that year, and there is no evidence of Elvis seeing her while he was stationed in Germany. Kitty ended up getting married in 1963 and left show business. Although Kitty became another girlfriend of Presley's for the history books, she did have some great insights from the time she spent with him. Quote, "Whenever Elvis talked about marriage he'd laugh or kid," described Dolan. "He just won't commit himself." One of his buddies said, "You'll be 50 before you marry," unquote. Find out more about Kitty Dolan and Elvis Presley's other secret girlfriends during the 2 years he served in the Army in the book, Elvis, The Army Years Uncovered, behind the scenes of the 2 years that changed the King of Rock and Roll's life. Read a free excerpt at elvisbiography.net. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like this video to help this channel grow. Please subscribe to this channel and ring the bell for notifications of future videos. And keep watching more Elvis videos here.
So what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? I don't even know what to say to that, honestly. I mean, even back then, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, he was just telling her it was publicity stunts and stuff. But look, when you're at somebody's house and you're climbing out the windows and all that, I kind of do blame the other woman quite a bit more. That is a home wrecker right there to me. Yeah, he loved them women. He loved them women, Janice. He did love them women. But the thing was, they said he didn't want to be alone. Listen, I think people like that have a sexual problem, which kind of confused me when he said something about that religion, and then also about when Priscilla had the baby, or anybody that had a baby, he didn't want to sleep with them. So it made me wonder, did he just have a preference, without saying it? Surely y'all got common sense to know what I'm talking about. So did he just have a preference? Was he sexually preference oriented or something like that, if that even makes sense? Right. And he loved in his heart, but listen, before Smiley gets into any more, we got some more. Hold on here. Smiley gonna shut up. Smiley gonna shut up. Let me stay on track today.
Well, I'm not so sure you think so.
Yeah, well, I do. I think you do.
But do you have a girlfriend out there?
Do I have?
Yes. Well, I mean, do you have a special one? I know you have several.
Oh, hell. Let me see.
I'm not getting mad about it. There you go, getting mad.
I'm not.
Well, I'm not being silly, Elvis. I mean, that's just...
I don't have any.
Let's just face it.
I don't have any.
You mean you don't go out with a single girl out there?
No.
Why, Elvis, I'm surprised at you.
I don't.
I thought you liked girls.
I do.
Well, why don't you go out with them?
Okay.
Well, you do anyway.
I just haven't.
There's one thing that I just can't stand. You know what that is?
What?
For you to tell me a story about something.
Oh, well.
You're always getting to me about telling you stories.
I know, but you tell me more than I do.
That's not true. My goodness. Elvis, I've caught you and told me it's awful.
Oh, hell.
I have. And the least thing if I were you, I would admit to dating people because I know you are. And it would make me feel so much better if you told me about them. And then I wouldn't feel like there was anything there.
You know what? You know why I don't call you more?
Yes, after all that, absolutely, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't do it if you call him more.
I remember Anita got married again, so they could have never probably found their way back together.
I wouldn't feel my damn head, man. I mean, I can't count a decent conversation. You start throwing up all kind of shit to me. Listen, Elvis, if you call me... Look, if I called you every damn night, you start bitching about some girl. That's a story, because I wouldn't think there was any girl there. You're just fucking nag, that's all. You're just a nagger, that's all. I'm sorry you feel that way about it, but that's the way I feel about it, and you don't have to be that way either. Well, that's the way I am. Not to the extent that you are. You don't have to be that bad. I'm sorry you feel that way about it. I know you're going to start throwing something up to me. And I ain't got time to hear it. You turn me into a thought talker. You know that? Am I just fussing at you? Yeah, all the time. You would, because I can't stand it. I can't stand it, Anita. I swear I can't stand it. Right. If you'd call me and do right, I wouldn't. I call you and do right my ass. No, you don't. Call you and do right my ass. If I called you every night, you'd start saying, who'd you see today? That's a lie. You got a girlfriend, I'll smack you. You said that bullshit. That is a lie. No, it ain't no lie. This is the first time or the second time I've even brought it up. No, you bring it up every time I talk to you. You've talked to me so many times. Oh my goodness, I couldn't count my fingers and toes. It's all been about another week and a half or 10 days. I know exactly how long it's been, Elvis. You don't realize how long it'll be before I'll be home? I know exactly how long. How much hell for, huh? I'll be home and I'll be with you when it happens. Well, you'll be with me. Yeah. And what do you stop bitching? I'll call you. But why can't I talk to you on a decent conversation, huh? Well, if you would call me, it would have been fine. Oh, why don't you be sweet instead of bitching like an old nagging ass wife, huh? I can't stand that. I can't stand it, Anita. You drive me crazy, huh? All right. You get worse all the damn time. That's why I don't talk anymore over on the phone.
Okay, I thought this one was going to play more. I'm not sure. It may not be this one. This is Elvis Australia credit to Elvis Australia. Let me look at something. I thought this played several. It even had Priscilla videos in there. Let me see. I think she was a beautiful woman. Hold on. It's weird how to do it on my phone sometimes, but it didn't do it with this one. Hold on. This is so weird. Let's see what this one says. All right, that's not it. Hold on. All right, that's not it. I know good and well. Hold on. After their talk on here, let's see. Hold on a minute. Maybe this one. Okay. No. Jesus. Hold on. All right, I don't guess that was it. Hold on. I don't guess that was it, y'all. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. There was one in here that just kept playing different videos. Hold on. What in the heck? Hold on. Sorry. Shop again. YouTube. Okay, I must have took it down. Okay. Yeah, I think I took, okay, I think that's it. I think the one that I was going to show, I think it, I think it must have been on my other phone or something. But anyway, y'all can look those up, and it just keeps showing and keeps showing and keeps showing. But it is interesting. And it went down to show hers. It went down to, it just kept going back to back. I was like, what is this? So I kept watching them, and I wanted to put that one up. But it was under the Australia one. I don't know why it didn't keep doing that. And it showed Priscilla's, and then it showed also the one Barbara Walters I was talking about. Asked Priscilla about that, so it kind of made sense, about the Pentecostal thing, and then how it was after Lisa Marie was born and stuff like that. But I just thought it was all fascinating, and again too. Crystal's right. You're all right. If you haven't ever been to Graceland, and I can give that advice, and I still need to get my ass up in there, not just on writing on the walls like a teenager. You can always go to Graceland.com and you can get information. You can buy tickets and stuff, but they have all different kinds of tours. They got nighttime tours. They got, tours of just the museum. They got all kinds of tours, and some of their tours though are like $250, and you get tours with meals, honey, meals. You can get all kinds of things, so you just kind of customize it to how you want it, what you want. But it is something to see. It is interesting. It is all of the things. It's all of those things. But I just know life is short, and I know we only have one life to live, and don't never take it for granted. I like going back and looking at these old things, even though sometimes I don't put them out. But I just thought today, for some reason, I just thought, you know what? I'm going to put this out. This may be something somebody else wants to hear too. Everybody knew Elvis. Everybody likes his songs. They still like them to this day. Everybody loves Priscilla. They love Lisa Marie. They love everything about Elvis, his mama, his daddy, everything, that was going on. And why not? I may even start doing more shows like this. I enjoy stuff. I like reading different stuff. I like seeing different stuff, and I like learning this different stuff. What does Smiley always say? You're never too old to learn. You're never too old to learn. It's interesting. Life, you only have one life to live. Go for it, Sharing is caring. And I just thought it was interesting. And I tried on my memberships. I tried, but we'll get back to all that later. I thank you for coming in. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see what else I can dig up. During Elvis week, Debbie said, hold on, let me get you up here. During Elvis week, you can walk up at night for free to visit the meditation garden. Also, not sure if you can now, but you could do that during early AM hours for free. See, and there's a lot, if you check into it, there's a lot of free things in this world that you can do. I just want to throw that out there, that you can do. And you need to be out there making those memories, whether you're doing it with somebody you love, whether you're doing it with your family, your friends, or yourself. Get out there and do it, okay? Life is too short. Life is too short. So anyway, I love y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Hit the thumbs up. I'll go back and try to put everything in the title, or the little thing, so everybody might want to come in and see. I don't know. But anyway, it is what it is. And thank you for being here. You're welcome, Debbie. Thank you for being here. And I will see you in the streets. YouTube streets, that is. Y'all have a great day. Bye.